think about that?
It's funny. I actually was just text messaging with a friend because I'm missing class right now.
You are?
And my film class. And it's so funny because they're watching American Beauty today and analyzing it.
American Beauty? Mm-hmm. What's funny about that?
You were in that.
No, it wasn't.
American Beauty?
Nope.
What's the one with the rose petals?
I'm not in that.
That's not you?
No.
Really?
No.
Really?
I swear to God.
Am I just very confused?
I think you are.
For anyone to think that Vladimir Putin...
We looked at that over and over in rushes. In the editing room, we're going, how did you do that, Henry?
You're swinging... Yeah. What was that?
That was just really off the top of my head. Just felt right at the time. And then I got kind of shy afterwards, and I didn't do it for the next take. Then McHugh came up to me and said, what are you doing? Why do the thing again? And I said, what thing? Came and showed me the monitor. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
2, 1. I think for me, in the past 10, 15 years, it's like that is one of the best moments in cinema. And I'm not one of these massive Henry Cavill fans. I don't like Man of Steel. I'm not a big fan of any of his films, to be honest with you. But I do like him as a person. And I think the reason I like him as a person is because of the whole...
Do you have a favorite origin story, just generally speaking, in the superhero pantheon?
Yeah, I mean, like, frankly, Batman's story is great, Yeah. And I like it when the robber never gets caught. I think that it makes more sense that the robber, if the robber is always out there and that Batman's, search for justice is an unquenchable search to right the wrongs of his childhood trauma that he'll never be able to do.
Right.
So I really love Batman's origin in terms of a simple story. There's also something really beautiful about Spider-Man's story, frankly, simply because of the with great power comes great responsibility line, which is one of, but I think that in terms of the actual core of the origin story is Batman is the ultimate origin story.
If only we'd ever seen it depicted on film. They have to show it one of these days.
Someday someone will show it. I imagine a string of pearls.
And maybe a close-up on them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you promise me in your tenure in DC we're not going to see it again, the origin story of Batman? Can you promise that?
I don't want to promise it, but I have no plans on it. I'll say that much.
I honestly speaking, I don't know how I feel about this James Gunn thing. I can't lie. I don't think he's this amazing director that everyone thinks he is. I think he found a niche for himself, and he's definitely very good at his niche. His niche is James Gunn. That's his niche. And there's nothing wrong with that because Christopher Nolan is a niche in itself. But I just find his films a bit, and I think, how can I say this without being offensive? I find his films a bit wishy-washy. I really do. I find them really wishy-washy. Like I watched them and like, okay, cool, that was fun. We're done.
He did it to send a message. In his words,
you'll never know true power until you've tasted the testicles of a man who's wronged you.
It's true. That's a fact.
After Batman, do you want to direct another superhero movie?
No.
Will AI destroy humanity?
No.
Do you still refuse to have a smartphone?
Yes.
Are you afraid of death?
Yes.
Could you have a TikTok account?
No.
Well, if you don't have a smartphone, it's not easy anyway. Is Interstellar your favorite movie in your filmography?
Pass.
Would you like to make a Star Wars movie?
Pass.
Is music the most important thing in a movie?
No.
Is it okay to eat while watching a movie?
Yes.
Is it okay to watch movies on smartphones or laptops?
Yes.
Do you play video games?
No.
And maybe one last one. Does a big budget film have a higher chance of being a good film?
No.
There's a lot to unpack there. There's so much to unpack. I think the first, let's work backwards. So the first thing is, big budget movies, are they more impactful or better than small budget movies? Well, I think the very fact that Christopher Nolan's best film to date is his smallest film, well, maybe not his smallest film, his second smallest film, suggests that definitely is not the case. Memento, for me, narratively speaking, dialogue, everything is arguably his best film. And I know a lot of you probably would say Dark Knight or maybe Interstellar or Inception. I love Inception. I like Interstellar. I've seen Space Odyssey 2001, so I don't like Interstellar as much as maybe some other people do. I definitely don't think he should be doing another Batman movie. That's not a good idea. Shouldn't do any other superhero movie. He doesn't like them, obviously. What I would say to that is obviously he made the Batman films, so he had the freedom to go and do whatever he wanted. So Interstellar, Inception, was the most recent film he did, Oppenheimer. He's now got the freedom of Hollywood because of the Batman movies. And they were used as a vehicle. Let's be honest here. He's not a massive superhero fan. That's why he wouldn't do another one. It's just, 2 + 2 =
25. Wait a minute, Beetlejuice. I want you to think about it.
Think about it. Don't blurt out your answer.
I think one of the other things he said that was really important was music. Music and films. I think more than any time in his career so far, I think Oppenheimer relied purely on music. There's so much music in that film from the beginning, from the first frame to the last frame. I don't think there's a minute, a second, a half a second, a half a minute without music. So I think he's maybe underplayed his answer there. And I think he does think music is really important. But if he says that he doesn't, then I'm going to have to listen to Christopher Nolan. So, hey.
It's easier to be Miles flirting with Gwen when I'm looking at Haley.
When you're looking at her, right.
I was very happy to work with Haley.
Yeah. I gotta do this. I gotta make a movie.
I'm gonna watch Paper Moon just so
you know.
Just so I can be closer to Haley. It's easier looking at Haley being Miles trying to get to Gwen, you know what I mean?
Shameik Moore just made history as the first Spider-Man who didn't manage to date his leading lady. Haley Steinfeld, who voices Gwen Stacy in the Spider-Verse movies, recently announced her engagement. Fans were thrilled for her, but in the middle of all the excitement, Shameik decided to post a cryptic tweet that got everyone talking about him. He tweeted, "There's still more people to meet, more opportunities to come, and more chances to try, live, learn, and apply." At first, the tweet might seem like harmless advice about life and growth, but people quickly connected the dots, especially fans who know that Shameik has always seemed to have a little crush on Haley. One user wrote Shameik Moore is the only male lead in the Spider-Man films to not date his female co-star. There's a bit of a tradition with Spider-Men and their leading ladies. In real life, Tobey Maguire dated Kirsten Dunst while filming the original Spider-Man trilogy. Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone were a fan-favorite couple during their time as Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. And of course, Tom Holland and Zendaya are the ultimate Spider-Man power couple. But Shameik, he's officially the first Spider-Man to miss the mark. Not only did he not date his Gwen Stacy, but now he has to watch her get engaged to someone else. The internet has dubbed him the Spider-Man who fumbled the bag.
For me, this is such an interesting one because I kind of feel sorry for the guy. But at the same time, I don't know the guy, so I don't know if any of this information is true. He may just be playing games, flirting, playing on the fact that he's flirted with her in the past, so forth, so forth. We don't know anything. But one thing I do know is that everyone knows who he is now, whereas before maybe they didn't. Now I know who he is because I saw him in a few things actually. I saw him in the Wu-Tang Clan TV series. I've seen him in this, although you don't technically see him, you see his character. And then he also appeared in a film, which is right here, because I can't remember what it's called. But the thing is, we've all been there, haven't we? We've all been there. We've all been to this place where we really like someone and then they just don't like you back. And you've got your whole future set out with this one person. But this person doesn't want you back. And I think if you look at the interviews they did together where he's flirting with her, she's not really flirting back. And that's the thing where I can't really, I feel less sorry for him because it seemed to me like he was putting himself out there for the whole world to see. That's not how you do it, bro. You don't do it in public. You do it in private. At least that way, if you fail, no one saw. Apart from, her.
Not being able to speak is not the same as not speaking. You seem as if you like to talk. I like to let people talk who like to talk. It makes it easier to find out how full of shit they are. What the hell did you just say? I like people to talk. This is easy. So I'm the one full of shit. We both full of shit.
The worst note a director has ever given you?
Worst note, director. I've been really lucky with the directors.
Yeah, I was going to
just say take. Oh, fucking terrible note. He told me to take. I wasn't wearing a suit, and he was like, "Take your suit off." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Take it off. Whatever you're wearing, take it off." Like not literally, metaphorically. And I was like,
Okay, so you may not know, but I am a director. I've directed 6 feature films. If you look to they're over here somewhere, over there. There's a couple of awards. I won an award recently for my latest feature film. So I've been in this position as a director where you have to give notes. And I often think the worst thing you can do is give something that means nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like something wishy-washy, like take your suit off when the person's not wearing a suit. Because they're going to be like, what are you talking about? You have to understand, actors are different. So there's a clip, and I'm going to play it soon. There's a Tom Hardy clip where he's talking about there's 2 ways to act.
I know that you are a method actor. So
no, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
No, just yeah. Sorry, okay. That's not like you touched a nerve.
Okay.
It's just that I'm not, because I'm a geek. Okay, I think the words method acting always trigger make me feel. I feel like responding to that with a sort of 4-hour-long lecture as to what method acting may or may not be. And so it's like, oh, I'm glad you asked, but we haven't got the time. So fundamentally, in a nutshell, there's 2 types of acting: convincing and not convincing. And then midway between the 2 is any method necessary, including fake it to make it. I could be saying something and thinking, what's for lunch? And that could work and translate. So no, it's not necessary. I think what is really necessary for me as an actor, and I speak for myself, is the nature of the relationships on set and the who knows the most and best idea wins in service of a text.
Now, if you've just seen that clip, you'll understand that there are 2 ways to act. Actors don't piss around. They either find one way or the other way to get into character. So the last thing they want to do is have a note come to them that says, take your suit off when you're not wearing a suit. I think Paul Thomas Anderson said it best when he said, if there's an actor and they're not quite performing how you want them to perform, don't go in their place and go, this is how you perform this is how you do it. This is how you perform. Because actors love good notes. They don't like being acted to show how to perform. That's quite insulting. And also, they just want concise, clear notes, like, raise your voice, or this is how the character should be. If you could come more that way, or say the line like this. You're hitting that word like that. Say it like this. Those are good notes. Or hit your mark over there. A bad note is, when you wake up in the morning, what is it that you can smell? Act like that. Like that's a useless note. That's no good for me. That's no good for the actor. That's no good for their scene partner. It's no good for anyone.
I love doing action films. Like I've done 3 or 4 dramas in a row now, and I kind of said to my agent last week, I wouldn't mind finding something like John Wick, something that had a kind of an aesthetic beauty to it and a particular style, but was more commercial and maybe more physical and stuff like that. Yeah, what about you? I mean, it's a job.
Well, I agree with almost everything you've said, but I sometimes think we are in slight danger of disappearing up our own arses, actors. Yeah. And that really we should be there to entertain people, and we shouldn't forget that.
What you just said there is perfect. I think a lot of actors nowadays, a lot of studios, a lot of directors don't realize you're there to entertain us, bro. You're there to entertain us. I've not been to the cinema. I think I've been to cinema about 4 times this year. 4 times. For Dune 2. I can't remember the other ones. Like it's been a rough year. For me personally, as a man who loves going to the cinema by myself and just that's my happy place, I've not felt like anything's been worthy enough for me to go to the cinema. So the fact that he comes out and he says that is wonderful. We need more people saying that. And when they say entertain, I don't mean pander. I mean do something that entertains us. Do it.
I think maybe the biggest question I've seen out there is like, because, you know, you've been very adamant, Matt Reeves' Batman universe is Matt Reeves' Batman, and he's such a singular filmmaker, let him do his thing. Have you contemplated, have you had the conversation, have you reconsidered integrating Pattinson's Batman into your DCU?
I've contemplated it. Yeah, we've contemplated it. You gotta contemplate everything, John. We gotta talk about everything. Like, it just means like, and then see, like, you can't, these questions you can't answer because people are too, you know.
Right. Yeah, you would be an idiot not to have that.
They make everything to mean, you know, like not to think, what's this gonna, you know, how does this go? How does this go? You know, but I'm committed to both telling stories in the DCU and telling Elseworld story. I want the freedom to tell Elseworld stories. We want to be able to, you know, tell a story in which, you know, Superman's very different, or, you know, tell a, you know, Red Sun story or whatever, you know. It's like we want to be able to, you know, play with these characters in different ways. And
DC. Should we talk about DC for like a few seconds? DC. James Gunn, DC. Elseworld, no, you can't do it. You can't do Elseworld. You can't have two Batmans in the same, running on the same timeline. And when I say timeline, I mean the real world timeline. You can't have two Batmans. Come on, can't have bloody. You can't have Scott Adkins and Robert Pattinson both being Batman concurrently. That doesn't make any sense. And this is kind of how DC got effed up in the first place, because they made that Batman versus Superman film where they opened up the world of possibilities of different timelines and time travel and so forth. And then what do you get? You get the Flash movie, which is, you know, I kind of was entertained by the Flash movie, but many weren't, because many didn't even bother with it. You cannot have two concurrent timelines. It just, it's a recipe for disaster. I'm going to say it again. James Gunn is going to fumble the bag. Is that the expression? Fumble the bag?
The internet has dubbed him the Spider-Man who fumbled the bag.
The bazooka, Rowdy?
You know, sometimes you just got to pull out your bazooka and blow a motherfucker up.
Call it. Call it, yes. For what? Just call it. Well, we need to know what we're calling it for here. You need to call it. I can't call it for you. Well, it wouldn't be fair. I didn't put nothing up. Yes, you did. You've been putting it up your whole life. You just didn't know it.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't think they're like.
How did you not know why you were doing it though? Like this,
it just didn't have
amazing scenes.
It didn't have that vibe. It was so simple.
Wild.
It was so simple, and
but then when you saw it though,
into the what, dude? When I saw it with my kid, which was probably super irresponsible.
How old was your kid?
He was 16. He was like, that's on the you know, the cusp. But I saw it with him in an editing room on a big screen. And we left and we got in the car and we didn't talk for 15 minutes. And that's never happened.
Wow.
Like literally not one word.
Wow.
And then I said, what do you think? And he goes, fuck.
I don't know if you've seen No Country for Old Men. It's not my favorite Coen Brothers movie, but it's definitely top 3. It's very Coen Brothers-like in the way it feels. I would say in the narrative, it's not anything like there's no other Coen Brothers movie like it. It's got the quirks, it's got the atmosphere, it's got the cinematography of a Coen Brothers film, but this story is so bizarre and unique and doesn't follow your typical tropes. It's a masterpiece of a film. If I had to make a list of the best Coen Brothers films, I'm gonna go with some Barton Fink. I'm gonna go with some Fargo. I love me some Miller's Crossing, and of course, you know, The Big Lebowski.
Your bunny.
I'll suck your cock for $1,000.
Wonderful woman. We're all very fond of her, very free-spirited.
Brand can't watch, though, or he has to pay $100.
That's marvelous.
I'm just gonna go find a cash machine.
So you are aware that like you're the final boss when it comes to OF, right?
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
And I know you saw the clip of Julia making $400,000 a month, so I just need to know like how much are you making a month?
I don't know if I don't really want to hurt your feelings. I just don't
Hurt my feelings? What do you mean?
I don't want to say.
You don't have to say, just show me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I won't break your phone. I actually like kind of tearing up. $4 million?
What?
$4 million in a month.
Listen, I know this has got nothing to do with film, but this has got something to do with life. And on these videos, I want to talk about life. I want to talk about film. And films are life. And all these things influence how films are made. I'd like to think. I think all great films have been influenced by something that's happened in life, you know, a life experience or a moment in life that someone has taken inspiration from and turned it into a screenplay or into a film. So in regards to this particular situation, this is where we're at. This is one of the reasons why film has become so irrelevant, because things like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube have taken over. I think the real film stars now, or the real celebrities now, are YouTubers, or people who stream. So this specific thing here, where this person's making $4 million a month, I want you to take into consideration a little simple fact. Before, I said that Christopher Nolan's best film, in my opinion, is Memento. How much do you think Memento cost to make?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
That means that this person in 2 months could finance Memento. That is insane. That is one person with an OF account who could be her own film studio. The world has gone mad.
Because now, I know what I must do. I will shred this universe down to its last atom. And then, with the stones you've collected for me, create a new one, teeming with life, that knows not what it is lost, but only what it has been given. A grateful universe.
Born out of blood.
They'll never know it. Because you won't be alive to tell them.
Listen, if you're not subscribed yet, you probably should, because there's videos like this one today. There's videos like bad movies versus good movie fights. There's videos like bad car chases versus good car chases fights. There's all kinds of videos on this channel. If you're not a member, you can become a member. It's very easy. If you've not joined the Patreon, please join the Patreon. I would love for you to do so. Or do you know what? Just hit the like button. Do something, though, if you enjoyed the video. I'll speak to you soon.